Now, the PDC's decision on the World Matchplay, whether it'll go ahead on its originally scheduled dates of the 18th to 26th of July, is due out if you're listening on the day of the release. It's due out tomorrow on Friday. What side of the fence are you on leaning towards right now, though, on whether the World Matchplay should go ahead as scheduled in late July?
I'm really not sure, and I've been looking at various bits online. And Barry Hearn, our good friend of the show, he's been doing a few interviews. Did one with the Guardian quite recently, talking about crowds in events, and we know that darts with the crowds, that is what it's all about. It's a big part of the darts. It helps bring in obviously the revenue for the tour. Talking about the PDC here, but it is a big part, and he seems to think that maybe around July that the government restrictions could be lifted a bit more, and we could see crowds come back. So maybe not 100%, but sort of 50%, 25%, a percentage of the crowd could be allowed into the venue. So that's round about the time when we've got the World Match Play, isn't it? July the 18th. And darts without I know snooker's a little bit different, but compared to the darts, but we have seen darts with smaller crowds. Obviously the World Masters last year, some of the sessions at the O2, the first Friday afternoon sessions that we see on the European tour, but to have a darts event on TV with no crowd at all, it does feel a little bit strange. So I'm not sure. I think maybe it might be a little bit too soon. Just talking on this Tuesday afternoon here in the UK, maybe it's a little bit too soon to see the World Match Play go ahead on the 18th of July with how we used to seeing it. But if it does go ahead on those dates, I think it's going to look very different. I don't think we're going to get a full house in the Winter Gardens.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I don't see how it can go ahead with a full crowd, possibly with any crowd. But I'm still on the side that it should be postponed because we've lost out on most of the season to qualify for it. We've talked the last couple times about alternatives that they could do if they decide they want to go ahead with that at this time, which I think would make it closer to fair. And if they do expand the field, or if they do change the qualifying criteria, you might be able to make this work. But having it go ahead, not just on the dates, but on the qualifying criteria, as I said before, I don't think would be fair. And I think it's rushing back. But on the other hand, if it is going to be the first event back, what better event to be the first one back than the second most prestigious event on the calendar, an event that I shouldn't say most, but a good portion of the players say is their favorite event of the year, just when you factor in the venue and the atmosphere. Even if you can't have that full atmosphere, you still have the venue, you still have that moment that darts is now back or starting to get back to normalcy. And this would be a great event for that to be, but I do think it's a little too soon. I think we need to have a good month's worth of Pro Tour events before the cutoff. Maybe move the event back just a month till the end of August, which also would increase the chance, as you mentioned, that we will be able to have 25 or 50% capacity there. The longer or the further back we push it, the greater the chance that there will be able to be some crowd. And I think that would be the best idea. But if it is going to be the first event back, you couldn't ask for a better first event back, but I don't think it should be.